Who here hasn't been to space?
Why?
You better not throw up on my ship.
Approaching jump in 3, 2, 1.
Let's jump into this Bad Batch. Now, I have not seen this. I've been holding out. I saw it this morning. I really wanted to watch it this morning, but I didn't. Okay. I really wanted to watch it this morning, but I did not. So I'm going to put that on so you guys can see it. All right, here we go. Let's get into Bad Batch.
We went over the plan 5 times. I got the package, didn't I? We need a pickup.
Hang on. Grab the light.
So, this is the top team. The rogue clones on the run from the Empire, huh? Hello. How juicy.
The Empire's growing stronger. We should be doing more.
You want to really be free? Then pull off this heist, and you can have a future.
Rumors are more and more clones have been questioning the Order.
Then they're traitors, like the Jedi.
You all gave up everything because of me.
We made the right choice, Omega. But there are others out there who need our help.
What sort of treachery is this?
Stay back!
We are not the enemy. The Empire seeks to establish peace and order throughout the galaxy.
Peace. Peace was never an option. We're soldiers. We do what needs to be done.
Move! You know what makes us different? We make our own choices. What do you need, Rex? Any chance I could use you for a mission?
Parents, The Bad Batch. New season streaming January 4th. Only on Disney+.
Why the fuck did they say parents at the end? Oh no. Very interesting. As you guys have heard me say here over and over again, especially for my Star Wars fans that are in the chat, I did not enjoy Bad Batch season 1. I enjoyed the first episode of Bad Batch. I thought it was great. The first episode, the first hour-long episode where we get to see, although it's different, I do enjoy Kanan's comic more than I enjoyed what they did with him and Depa Biloba's backstory, because I know you know Star Wars too. Yeah. Depa Biloba's backstory in Bad Batch, but I still really loved the first episode of Bad Batch. It was dark. It was adding another point of view of Order 66 that we hadn't seen before. Yeah. It was everything that I wanted the entire season of Bad Batch to be, but unfortunately, the first season for me turned into a quest of side missions for the Bad Batch that felt irrelevant, that felt like this is inconsequential to anything that's going on in the galaxy right now. Besides those last few episodes, like those last 2 or 3 episodes where Cad Bane and Fennec Shan showed up and everything like that, you know, seeing Cad Bane, 'cause we hadn't seen Cad Bane since like season 4 of Clone Wars. We hadn't seen Cad Bane in a long time. So seeing him in Bad Batch, that was cool. But one thing I like about this is it looks like more clones. That was the most interesting part for me from this trailer. It looks like more clones are going to be disobeying Order 66, because when Crosshairs was talking to Cody, which obviously that was cool, seeing more Cody, because we haven't seen Cody since season 7 of Clone Wars, but we don't really, there's never, even in Legends, there's a backstory on Cody and what he does and who he becomes and everything like that after Order 66, but in Lucasfilm's canon, we don't know what happens to Cody. We don't know, he was loyal to Obi-Wan. Did Cody, in canon, was he accepting of Order 66, or was it one of those things where his chip was malfunctioned, like it seems like it's malfunctioning for other clones? Because it seems like a lot of the clones from the trailer were like, I don't know about this.
Well, and then in which I guess it's episode 3, you have him where he orders him to fire on Obi-Wan, isn't that right?
Yeah, in episode 3.
So, I mean, it could be a deal where because, I mean, that was, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Clone Wars, didn't Rex kind of go a little crazy?
He did.
And then
he did, yeah.
Ahsoka helped him out through that, and then got his ship fixed and taken out, rather. But I'm like you. Whenever Bad Batch Season 1 came out, that first episode, like, you could feel the weight of Order 66. And I love every time they go and they show these different perspectives of that. But yeah, it turned into, like you said, the side quest, and then just babysitting Omega, in which I agree, Omega. She hasn't seen the world. She'd been on Kamino the whole time. And, but it was just like, Omega, don't go. Then she comes, okay, well, we'll take you this time, but don't come next time.
Yeah.
And then she ended up going,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's, Bad Batch Season 1, it was what it was. But like I said, I love seeing that Clone Wars animation style. I'm glad that, getting to see that back, because when this drops, it'll be almost 2 years since we've seen the first season, which is crazy, the first season of Bad Batch. But another thing that I really like, anytime Palpatine shows up, I get excited, man, because I like this point of view that we're seeing, because we're getting to see him as the Senate. We're actually getting to see him running the Senate. And I hope that I know a lot of people don't really like the political stuff. They think the political stuff in Star Wars is boring. I find the political stuff in Star Wars to be extremely interesting, because it's the catalyst to what is going on in the galaxy. Like, Palpatine was the one that orchestrated the Clone Wars. He was the one that played a role in the politics, pulling the strings and how everything was going to go. Even after the Clone Wars, he was still pulling strings of how the galaxy was going to be shaped and formed. So it's good. It's cool seeing him. It's cool seeing. I'm hoping that it's not just a deal where he's just. It probably is going to be a deal where he's just in the Senate, but that's honestly good enough for me. Seeing Mos Amida next to him too, and I'm hoping that we see Mon Mothma. I didn't watch Andor. Did you? You watched it, didn't you?
No.
No. Okay.
I haven't.
I didn't watch it either. I'm gonna watch it. That was it. I'm gonna watch it. I just haven't watched it yet. But this does feed into Andor. This is gonna feed into Andor, because it's still everything that's going on in Andor is happening obviously before this stuff happens. But it's playing, from my understanding, what I've seen of Andor, it's playing heavy on the things going on with the politics of Star Wars and the Senate. Ian McDermott said before Andor came out, there are a couple of shows you'll feel my presence, but you may not see my face. So I'm wondering if Andor, if we're going to feel his presence maybe in season 2, because he wasn't in this season, which is odd to me, but maybe in season 2 he'll show up or whatever, I'm not sure. And then obviously with Rex showing up there at the end, with them asking, with Rex saying, I need you guys' help, is he with Ahsoka? Where is Ahsoka? Because the last time we saw them, he was with Ahsoka in season 7. Like, obviously in Rebels, he's not with Ahsoka anymore, and we know how that story plays out. But are we at that point in the timeline with Ahsoka and Rex's relationship where they have parted ways? Where Rey, where Ahsoka's on her own type of mission, doing her own thing, trying to, at that time, she's trying to figure everything out. The Order 66 just happened. She doesn't know at this time that Vader is Anakin, but she does have her, her theories and things like that. Yeah. So, it could be where she's on her own personal journey at this point. So maybe her and Rex have parted ways. Omega looks older. I like that. And with all this tying together, with Jedi Fallen Order coming out in a few days or a few weeks or months or whenever that comes out, I forget when that comes out. When that comes out, I'm pretty sure that hopefully with Dave doing this, and Dave and with Kathleen Kennedy on her way out at Lucasfilm, and everything going with the way it is, I'm hoping that Jedi Fallen Order, because we know everything Star Wars ties together, I'm hoping that Jedi Fallen Order Part 2 or Jedi Survivor, I forget what it's called. I hope that ties into Bad Batch in some way. I hope we start to see Cal. I doubt we're seeing Cal in Bad Batch, but I hope that it ties together to where it makes sense that Cal is out there. We know he's out there. All of this is going on with Star Wars right now, and with Order 66 and the galaxy being transformed into the Galactic Empire. I want to see that. I want to know, obviously, with Boba Fett too, what's going on there. Omega is the last clone that was produced. Boba Fett is the only unaltered clone. I wonder if he knows, about Omega, anything like that. Also, another question I also had was, or not questions, another thing I noticed there was you had the Trandoshan's, Trandoshan's, I forgot how you say them, setting Kashyyyk on fire. And you saw Gungi there. The young Wookiee is Gungi. I saw somebody in the chat say, was that Chewbacca? No, that was Gungi. Gungi is a young Wookiee that we met in, I want to say, season 4, season 3-ish maybe.
Yeah, they all get their kyber crystals.
Yeah, when they got their kyber crystals, yeah. Gungi was in that. So that was Gungi there. It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm ready to see it. It looks better than season 1.
It looks like they have a direction. Like, I'm sure in season 1 they had a direction, but like you said, it's just side quest after side quest. Like this, it looks like they've got a main focus. They kind of know where they're going. And yeah, I'm excited for the politics.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, just to get a galaxy to at least not overthrow you, right? So they're behind them in some way, whether they think that they're going to keep power. Now, I'm sure, I just want to see how, maybe we'll get to see a little bit of how Palpatine kind of interacts with the different governments of the galaxy, and just kind of how he keeps them at bay. Because
I'll tell you one thing. The thing that because I've seen that asked before. Like, I've seen people ask that. Like, how does Palpatine fear? Fear is what keeps the locals in line. When you have, because we saw at the end of Episode 3, the Death Star. Actually, let me take it back further. We saw in Episode 2, at the end of Episode 2, Count Dooku took from Poggle being the leader of the Geonosians, took the plans for the Death Star away from Poggle and said that my master will want, these will be safer with my master. So we knew that in Episode 2, the plans for the Death Star were already in motion. At the end of Episode 3, we saw that the Death Star was already being constructed. By Episode 4, it's built. So I think now the Death Star was a secret until, we see in Rogue One that it actually did what it did to Scarif, and then we saw the Rebel Alliance become aware of the Death Star and things like that, but then we saw it again in Episode 4 when it blew up Alderaan. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Now, obviously no one knows about the Death Star right now, but knowing that, and also let me rephrase that, before it was fear that kept the locals in line, it was probably a sympathetic type of deal, because Palpatine is viewed as a victim of the Jedi. He's viewed as he got attacked by the Jedi. The Jedi went crazy, and they made him scarred and deformed. That's why he looks the way he looks. So he's probably playing that victim role to the Senate, where he's like, "Look what the Jedi did." I mean, he already did that in Episode 3. He's like, the attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed, and everybody cheered, and everybody was like, "Oh." So he's already got them on his. And even in the comic books, it goes deeper than that. Like outside of the Jedi Temple, Mas Amedda, his right hand man, was outside of the Jedi Temple with different Jedis that were slain, lightsabers, talking about, down with the Jedi, throwing the Jedi's lightsabers into a fire pit, and all the locals of Coruscant like cheering, like, yeah, no more Jedi. Now, obviously, the entire galaxy doesn't think that way, but the mass majority of them do. So yeah, it's very interesting. The last thing I will say about this, though, for the interesting facts of Star Wars. Now, I know we all want Star Wars to be going, for those of us Star Wars fans, we want Star Wars to be moving in a bit of a different direction. Yeah, D. Stizzle said Clone Wars Season 5 was a youngling's arc. We want Star Wars to be moving in a different direction. We've heard that Kathleen Kennedy is going to be leaving the Lucasfilm at the end of the summer of 2023. Well, I've got some bad news. And this hit me as a shock, too, when I heard it. From what it sounds like with Lucasfilm, last week, I had a few people messaging me, telling me, hey, did you see that Daisy Ridley was at Skywalker Ranch with George Lucas? And I said, yeah, I saw it, but I didn't want to see it. And I didn't want to see it because I don't want Daisy Ridley. She's a fine actress, I guess. I mean, I don't really know her anything outside of Star Wars, but I don't want Rey. Yeah. You have put a very bad taste in my and if, especially if she's Rey Skywalker. No, I don't want that. And so anyway, she was there for a reason, and she was there because apparently they are moving forward with episodes 10, 11, and 12.
Oh, really?
Jesus. And it's not going to be its own thing. It's going to be set in the distant future from what we've seen last in Rise of Skywalker. It's going to be set in the distant future. We don't know the plot. I don't know. All I can tell you is that Poe, Oscar Isaac, Daisy Ridley as Rey, and Kelly Marie Tran is coming back as Rose. Isn't that shocking? That's shocking because she went through the ringer with Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans were calling her all types of shit, bro. Like, it was bad. It was bad. But she's coming back. Only one that has said no so far, and rightfully so, is John Boyega. He should. And if I've seen people saying, well, they need to throw. No, I don't care how much money they throw at Boyega. I hope he continues to say no. I hope he continues. And some people are like, well, I loved Finn. I loved Finn too. But the way that he was personally treated by Lucasfilm, if you allow money to wipe that wrong, I'm sorry, I just can't. There's not enough money you could throw at me for me to be able to say, okay, yeah, you degraded me, you called me this, you called me that, you shrunk me in the poster, you took me completely out of the second movie. Yeah, after you set all that shit up with me in the first.
Just for so much build up to just have him do nothing with his character.
Nothing. To have him asleep the entire second movie. So yeah, if I'm Boyega, I'm like, nah, bro. Fuck Lucasfilm. Fuck Star Wars. I'm not coming back to you guys. Like, I've got other projects, but money talks though. Money does talk, so he may. But that's what we're hearing so far about the future of Star Wars. Even though Kathleen Kennedy is gone, looks like they are still moving forward. Again, I'm not sure if it's going to be titled episodes 10, 11, and 12. But it will for sure be set in the distant future with Rey and maybe possibly her with a Jedi.
See, I think the only way the only way Boyega comes is, one, like you said, the money, and then two, if they justify or bring justice to his character.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I would come back for that, just for the fans, the people who want to see, wanted to see him, more of him with the lightsaber. I mean, where was that going?
Lucasfilm has no idea because they have no idea. So, like I said, Bad Batch looks good. Bad Batch Season 2 looks good. I'm excited to see Pal. I'm excited to see Cody. I'm excited to see what's going on with the clones and them. Just some of the clones just obeying Order 66. Is Ahsoka going to be in this? Is it going to tie to anything overall? Like, where are we going here? So I'm excited.
We hear a little bit of Fulcrum.
Maybe. At this point, she is Fulcrum right now. She is Fulcrum. Wait a minute. Where does Tales of the Jedi? We saw in Tales of the Jedi when Bail Organa was talking to her at Padme's funeral. He handed her, that set the stepping stones for Fulcrum, because he handed her that comm and said, if you ever need anything, reach out to me. That's how she's, because in Rebels we find out through Bail Organa that he's communicating with someone named Fulcrum, and only he knows who Fulcrum is, and obviously that's Ahsoka. We learned that in Rebels. So at this point, she may already be Fulcrum. We might see that. I didn't even think about that. We might even see that. So, yeah, like I said, I can go on for Star Wars for days. But as always, question is for you guys. Let us know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking about what's going on with Bad Batch. Does it look better than the first season to you? Does it look like it's going to be a more of a side quest and missions and things like that, or does it actually looks like we're going somewhere with the season? What are your thoughts on some of that Star Wars news moving forward with Lucasfilm? Even though KK is gone, she is gone. Even though she's gone, it looks like they still may be continuing, which is wildly crazy to me, continuing with the Rey sequel trilogy stuff. So let us know, and if you're a sequel trilogy lover, that is fantastic. I, however, am not. It can burn. So let us know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking about that.